Hi, the SI meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Friday, October 12th. Looks like the first hard freeze and widespread frost will occur late tonight and early tomorrow across much of the Mid-Atlantic region, especially just to the north and west of the I-95 corridor. The suburbs of the big cities from Washington to Baltimore to Philadelphia to New York City could very well see their first hard freeze late tonight as temperatures drop to the low 30s, even the upper 20s of some of the outlying areas late tonight and early tomorrow. Tomorrow will be another very chilly day relative to normal, with temperatures some 10 to 15 degrees below normal for this time of the year. But there is a warm-up coming for Sunday and Monday here in the Mid-Atlantic region, only to be followed by some more cool weather on Tuesday and Wednesday. Well, before we get to the local weather situation, let's take a look at the tropics, because as we mentioned the other day, they are starting to get a little bit more active. Sometimes you see a secondary max in the tropical season during the month of October, and there's a couple different systems out there right now. First of all, here's an area right near the Bahamas, and it's actually developed into a tropical storm. It's received the name Patty, tropical storm status right now, and it's kind of sitting and spinning there. Will have to be watched, because we talked about yesterday the fact that very, very large, strong high pressure will be moving off the East Coast by the latter part of the weekend. And from that position, you could have clockwise flow of air, possibly moving this thing a little bit closer to the East Coast. So we'll have to continue to monitor that, especially later this weekend as that monster high moves off the East Coast. Meanwhile, another area here, this has not reached tropical storm status, but it very well could spill over into the Caribbean and maybe produce some heavy rain right here in Puerto Rico. This is the Puerto Rican island, as it moves generally in a northwestern direction. So the tropical season is certainly not over. A couple areas of interest to watch over the next couple of days. Well, let's get back closer to home with a surface map for the U.S. First of all, strong high pressure here centered over the center part of the country. This dropped out of Canada yesterday, is continuing to move to the east and will end up off the East Coast by the latter part of the weekend. Meanwhile, another in a series of cold fronts is headed for the East Coast. It'll swing through mostly on the dry side. There can be a couple of showers in northeastern Pennsylvania, across the New York City area around the midday hours. But for the most part, the next front will drive through here on the dry side and will usher in the coldest air of the season tonight into the Mid-Atlantic region. And as I said earlier, a hard freeze and widespread frost is likely in many areas by morning, especially on the northern and western sides of the I-95 corridor in the suburbs of the big cities. Meanwhile, that upper level low that was spinning off the California coast over the last few days has now kind of kicked off to the east and is approaching the Four Corners region. Can be some showers and thunderstorms today across the central Rockies as they dry out along the west coast. And here's an infrared satellite loop from the SSEC Wisconsin website. First of all, you have this band of clouds associated with this next cold front in a series of cold fronts coming through the eastern states. And again, there are some, we'll look at the radar next, but there are some showers across northern Pennsylvania that could hold together enough to give a shower or two during the midday hours across New York City, for example. Some strong thunderstorms here in the south central part of the U.S. and the next couple of days could include some severe weather in this part of the country. It's not that common this time of the year as we start to get cooler and cooler weather, but a strong front will move into the Midwest on Saturday, and that could spark some severe weather activity during the day Saturday, and even spilling over onto Sunday before that front tends to weaken as it approaches the East Coast. Meanwhile, a spin in the atmosphere right here as that upper level low that slowly grinds its way towards the east and now will produce some shower and thunderstorm activity over the Rocky Mountains to close out the work week. Well, let's take a quick look at a couple of computer forecast maps. This is from last night's NAM model run at 0Z, and this is for tomorrow morning, Saturday morning. Large high pressure sitting right on top of the Mid-Atlantic region. This is one of the reasons why we have the possibility of the first hard freeze and widespread frost late tonight. Conditions will be perfect for that kind of a setup with clear skies, diminishing winds. There might be some breeze later this afternoon into the early part of the evening, but by late tonight, as this high moves overhead. Winds will diminish, and widespread frost is likely, with temperatures dropping to near 30 degrees in many locations. This is a very strong high, and it'll continue to move to the east. And by Sunday morning, let's now jump ahead to Sunday morning, that large high will be now off the east coast on Sunday morning. And from this location, it'll promote a southwesterly flow of air and will get quite a bit milder on Sunday after a chilly, well below normal day on Saturday here in the Mid-Atlantic region. Sunday, the breeze will pick up out of the southwest. Temperatures will jump towards 70 degrees, maybe even 72, 73 degrees in some parts of the Mid-Atlantic region, following most likely the 50s on Saturday. Meanwhile, here's that frontal system in the middle part of the country, and it can spark some severe weather this weekend in the central part of the U.S. and all the way into the Midwest. Once this high reaches the east, this position just off the east coast, we'll have to watch as a circulation, a clockwise circulation around that high may very well pull that tropical moisture closer to the coast. Tropical storm Patty right now, we'll have to monitor that over the next several days. Strong, large highs that move off the east coast this time of the year often spell some tropical trouble, so we'll monitor that over the next few days. That's it for now for the SIweather.com. I'm the SI meteorologist, Paul Dorian.